Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, it is about that time to start the show. We are going live in just, where are we at? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See if this works. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, welcome to the Old Humble Distilling Company Quarantine Happy Hour episode. What episode is this? Episode 89. We have 13 people watching with us. Wow. Hello, everybody. Cheers and salutations. Let me get the chat screen open so I can see what the hell is going on, what y'all are talking about over there. This is the 89th episode, and tonight I've got, what do I have going on tonight? I've got a bunch of stuff to talk about. So we've got a new whiskey coming out later this year. Our rye whiskeys, they're still in development. We've got our rye whiskey that's still in development, and we've got stores that are being restocked as we speak. The Astros are playing over in Minute Maid Park, and they are up 3-0 right now over the A's, and it is the sixth inning. It's the bottom of the sixth inning. The Astros are batting, so totally excited about that. And I've got a cool thing going on over on the Twitters, which is if we get we got a special commemorative label coming out of the distillery based on some Twitter stuff going on. So let's get cracking, shall we? Tonight I am drinking our Special Reserve. Show the label like a good spokesman does. Our Special Reserve whiskey. It is made from 90% corn, 10% malted barley, aged 5 years in used bourbon barrels. Finished in new bourbon barrels, bottled at 90 proof, and made right here in Humble, Texas. Cheers to you guys. Go Astros, and fuck the haters. Yeah, cheers. A big shout out to our friends over on the Cabin Fever live stream on Twitch. That is a channel that if you are on Twitch, you should go follow that channel. They are a bunch of artists who started that channel because they lost their performance venues about a year ago. So they started the Cabin Fever live stream channel on the Twitch. Go check them out. They have shows every night starting at 5 going till probably around midnight. Enjoy that. You can find us also on the Twitch, Old Humble Guy, just like it says right down here in the corner, the Old Humble Guy. That's me on Twitch. Here on the YouTube's Old Humble Distilling Company. We have 420 subscribers now, so I'm going to do a 420 subscriber special on April 20th. I don't yet know what the program lineup will be, but I'm going to do something dumb. You can count on that. Maybe I'll have a local cannabinoid merchant on the show. Maybe I will eat something spicy and stupid. I've got this box of Death Nuts here that came in the mail a few weeks ago. I don't really remember ordering them, but I've got them. They are Carolina Reaper peanuts. So they're Carolina Reaper peanuts. And according to the back label here, it is a progression of 5 nuts. And it looks like there's 3 or 4 or 5 nuts in each progression. So, I'll find out more about that. Maybe I'll do that on the 20th. We shall see. When we hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to spend the night in a haunted cemetery. And when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to fight a kangaroo. There's these, we got these kangaroos down here at an aquarium here in town. And these sons of bitches sit there in their fedoras, smoking their cigarettes, smoking their cigars, wearing their stupid little vests, just talking about how cool they are because they're Australian. Well, one of them's going to get it. I'm going to come up and we're going to have a legit fight with like the bell and the boxing gloves and all that stuff. I know they can fight dirty because they're Australian, but I think I got a good chance of whooping one. So that'll be the 1,000 subscriber special. And in the meantime, dude, check this out. Our Memorial Day party is coming up. We're going to have a big show for Memorial Day. I've got it all plotted out. We're talking to a couple of bands to do the headline, which will be the second half of the show. The first half of the show, we'll have a singer-songwriter performer do a little 30-minute set. We'll have a couple of cocktails that we'll talk about, a couple of guests, maybe even a tour of the distillery. We should be in the advanced stages of building out our tasting room and office space at that time. So it'll be kind of cool to be able to do the walkthrough. It hopefully will be very advanced stages, and the thing will be almost done. We'll be in the decorating phase, or just finished decorating. That'd be god dang. Yeah, we're talking mid-May at that point. We should be well on the way to having this thing done and dusted. But yeah, we'll do a little walkthrough of the distillery for the show. We'll do a couple of cocktails, a couple of bands. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be about a 4 hour show for Memorial Day. Turn it on the background, do your cooking, enjoy your time in the backyard, listen to some music. It's going to be a hoot. It's going to be a hoot and a half, and then a half a hoot again. So keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. All that stuff will be coming out in the next 2 or 3 weeks as we get the details kind of nailed down and ironed out. So I think that covers all of my normal introductory stuff. We've had our opening drink. Cheers again. Let's have one more. And about this nonsense going over on Twitter. So this is what we're doing. So a couple days ago, yesterday, I think it was, one of my Twitter followers in the Astros Twitter universe over there on the Twitters started a Twitter, an Astros Twitter follow chain, where they say people, fans of the Astros fans, follow these people, like them, follow them back, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, you know what? If we hit 10,000 followers on our Twitter account by the end of by the All-Star break, which is July 13th, we were sitting at 5,600 or so, I believe. If we hit 10,000 followers, here's our Twitter handle, old_humble. That's us on the Twitters. If we hit 10,000 Twitter followers by the All-Star break, what I'll do is release a special edition commemorative label, Astros Orange whiskey label for our straight whiskey. Here's our straight whiskey. There it is. So it'll be the Astros Orange, with the orange and dark orange, light orange, or striped rainbow jerseys. And I will release that at the distillery. It will be available at the distillery and in limited quantity. So, hey, Moose Cow, how you doing? So if you follow us on the Twitter and we hit 10,000 followers before the All-Star, by the time the All-Star break comes, so that's July 13th. That's like, God, what is July 13th? This is April. So it's May, June, July. That's like 3 months away. We got time. So get out there and do it. We will release that limited edition bottle, and it'll be a fun thing to do, and that'll be really cool. It'll be available at the distillery. There'll be probably 250 bottles, maybe 500. I don't know. It depends on how many labels we can get a hold of. And we'll release that at the distillery. Now I have chat popped out over here to my left on screen. Yeah, there it is. I can see chat right there. So I can actually see y'all talking. So hi, Moose Gal. I can see you are doing fab, and I am doing quite well. I will happily say that. We have successfully raised the minimum funds for our main vest campaign, for our capital campaign. 35,000 was the target. We are at 40,000, just over 40,000 right now. So if you want to participate in our fundraising, our capital campaign, you too can grow with us. It is a minimum of $100. There's the link right there. Where is it? It's on the YouTube. It's down here. So the link is down below. You can hit that. Invest as little as $100. As we grow, your return grows as well. So come grow with us. That'll be fun. Is this a button I need pushed? Hey, there it is. Look at there. I've got the overlay. Can I turn off the overlay? What happens if I turn it off? Oh, cool. Yeah, see, it's got the quarantine happy hour right there. Boom. I don't know if I need that overlay actually on the screen. Do I? I don't know. Y'all tell me. Overlay, no overlay. Overlay, no overlay. Overlay, no overlay. Overlay, no overlay. We'll go with no overlay. Booze Gal is all out of Old Humble whiskey. That is terrifying. That is terrifying and terrible. all at the same time. Um, here's a fun fact. When I'm not out doing my tastings, I tend to run out of whiskey as well. I actually have to go out and buy it at the store just like everybody else when I'm not doing my tastings because we don't keep a huge inventory at the distillery. We keep a fairly bare inventory at the distillery. We usually keep enough to fill like basically the next order or the next couple of orders. But it's not like I have racks and racks and racks and racks at a warehouse that is just stacked up with whiskey. That is a misconception that most people have. We're a very, very small operation. And what we do, you'll see this on the Memorial Day thing. Actually, you can see it on our here on our YouTube channel on the uh, introductory video where there's basically a walkthrough of the distillery, and I kind of show off all the equipment and stuff that we have. It's not huge. I mean, the whole space is 2,500 square feet. We are nowhere near the size of Jim Beam and those guys who are like several football fields, like 400,000 square feet or however big their dumb, giant factories are. We're much smaller than that. But that's cool. That's how we rock, and we were able to produce high quality, small batch, handcrafted type of stuff that tastes really. I mean, I'm gonna toot my own horn. It tastes really damn good, which is one of the exciting things that I was able to do today. I was on a show today with some guys called Smoking and Toasting. They're over on the YouTubes. Let me find that channel. I looked it up earlier. Smoking and Toasting. There it is. I should probably look it up on the computer. Yeah, I can find it real quick. Go to the YouTubes and go to Smoking and Toasting. So I was on their show today. They're a cigar and drinks channel. And I was talking about our Old Humble Cigar Club that we're going to have coming up with cigars from Divine Leaf. Smoking and Toasting. It's and with an ampersand, which is shift 5. No, shift 6. No, shift 7. There it is. Jeez. Smoking and Toasting. There they are. Yeah, we're episode 228 is the one. Oops, I just accidentally unsubscribed. No, I don't want to unsubscribe. I'm subscribed. Good. Okay, here's the link to the channel in chat. Where's chat? There it went. Boom. There it is. Did I hear that Moose Gal got some raw out of order? Oh, that is some good beer. That is actually some really yummy beer. I want a couple of cans of that stuff too. That's yummy, yummy beer. But I was on the show earlier with these guys. That's the channel, Smoking and Toasting. I was on their podcast earlier, and we were talking about. I cracked out our rye that will be available later this year, and I talk all about the development of the rye and all the other stuff. So here's a fun fact about rye. Let's talk about rye whiskey. I don't have all my rye whiskeys with my marketing pack out in the car. Oh, crap. So unprepared for this show. How unprofessional of me. Anywho, so rye traditionally, the grain rye is a subpar grain for making breads, and the wheat's preferred for bread. Rye wasn't really used for bread. It was a subpar grain. It was kind of a coarse grain. It had too much flavor. People didn't really like that for their bread. It grew on substandard soil, so it was always available to be grown, but it wasn't really the premier crop to be grown. But because it was always available to be grown and it worked as really good ground cover and it really worked well for feed, there was always rye available, and rye could be used and ground up and turned into beer. And if it's turned into beer, it can be turned into whiskey. So historically speaking, rye is the more traditional, I think. I don't want to say it's the most traditional, but it's the more traditional. Rye predated bourbon. Rye whiskeys predated corn whiskeys, at least in the United States and through most of Europe. Rye whiskey is the great grandfather of the whiskey. There's a lot of people that don't like rye. I'm not one of I'm not somebody who's a huge fan of them. I think they have a lot of there's a robustness to it that is a bit off-putting. In the same way for me that IPAs are off-putting, but I can respect and acknowledge where the ryes are put together really well. So all that said, as a prelude, I've started exploring some ryes, and I found some really good ones that I really like. Uh, Bullet is one of those that's a very robust flavor, and it's very well done. Templeton is another one that's a lot more mild, uh, but it's got a good flavor to it, but it's a little bit more mild than the Bullet. Woodford Reserve. Woodford always makes good stuff, and Woodford they came out with a great rye too. It's a really yummy drink that they make. And then there's some others that are kind of others that I've had are kind of generic. There's a whole lot of ryes that are made in the $20 to $30 range that taste kind of like they come from the same place, and there's probably a reason for that. Uh, so I'll just leave it at that. That was a handful of them that tasted like they tasted unique from each other, and I'm good with that. And it seems that the people who like rye, most of the people who like rye the most, like it specifically because of its robust, strong, uh, active flavor that it has. In the same way that people who like IPAs like the robust, strong, hoppy flavor of an IPA. So what we're trying to do with our rye is bring all the good parts in for the rye and leave all the bad parts out. So I don't want any of that medicine-y aftertaste. I don't want any of that lingering bitterness. What I'm looking for is a whole lot of that spicy rye flavor that's also balanced out with the toasty, oaky flavor that you get from a good barreling. But here's where the but comes into play. And we all know we like a good but because it connects two parts of a sentence and lets you transition from one thought to another. But I also don't just want your typical rye. We live in Texas, yes? Texas state tree is the pecan tree. We make a lot of barbecue. We do a lot of barbecue. And we barbecue over hardwoods. We barbecue over mesquite and hickory and pecan and applewood and all kinds of other delicious woods. So I'm thinking we can probably marry our rye whiskey, the traditional grandfather of all whiskeys. We can marry that whiskey in with our traditional pecan, pecan groves and pecan wood and barbecue and things that we do with the slow cooking. And what I think we're going to do is we're going to release these two labels side by side, where we have the double barrel smoky rye and the double barrel pecan rye, and see, because they both have very different flavors. They both have a really rich smoky flavor that balances out really well with the rye grain and the rye spices. But where the one is a little bit sharp, the other one's a little bit more mellow. So you get the pecan wood and it mellows it out a little bit. You get the double oak and it kind of gives it a little bit more of the robusto flavor. And if you put them side by side, it is a fun, remarkable experience to drink them both. And if you watch Smoking and Toasting, when episode 228 comes on, is it episode 228? Yeah, episode 228. We do a live tasting of these two flavors where I've got the rye whiskey that's it's not quite finished yet, so I need to put it back in the barrels and age it a little bit longer. But the pecan wood rye, I literally unbarreled it this morning, put it in a bottle, brought it to the studio, and did the tasting, my first taste of it live with these guys, and it was pleasant. It was quite remarkable and quite pleasant. So I'm super duper excited about what the future holds for that particular whiskey, and that should be coming available in I want to say September. is when we'll be able to debut that. So that'll be exciting. That'll be super exciting for us. So all you rye heads out there, you rye fans out there, rest assured we will have a rye coming end of 2021. We will have a rye available. I'm hoping to be able to debut it at a music festival coming up in September. We'll have it available at the distillery by the end of summer, and it should be on store shelves hopefully by Christmas, and then followed shortly thereafter by our bourbon that will also be on store shelves hopefully earlier next year. There's a whole lot of logistics that I'm not in control of, and that's what we're looking for. So there you go. There's a little history lesson about the rye whiskey in general, and our rye whiskey specifically. And see, here's one of the cool things, one of the many cool things about this new renaissance we've been having. This new renaissance we've been having with the small distilleries all across the country. Before Prohibition, we had small distilleries all over the place. There were small distilleries in every town. Some of them were legal. Every farm had a barrel in the back garden that was either buried all the way or buried part of the way, that was aging their house liquor. Every farm had their own particular take on their own whiskey, their own liquor. And then when Prohibition came and all that kind of dried up and everything consolidated into just a handful of distilleries, well, all that vast uh, uh, landscape of uniqueness just kind of went away. Even if they're using a different recipe, if that stuff is being aged in barrels 60 miles apart in the same state with the same water, with the same climate, you're getting basically the same. I don't want to say the same whiskey, but it gets 60% of its flavor from the barrel, and a good chunk of the remaining 40% comes from the climate where it's being aged. If the climate's the same for this barrel and this barrel, I mean, how vastly different is the flavor going to be? See what I mean? And when you have whiskeys that are finished in barrels that are in Washington and Utah, and probably never in Utah. I mean, those guys don't know how to have any fun. Love you, Utah. Oh, wait, I probably can't. You know what? Whatever. I want to make y'all feel awkward. Love you, Utah. But Montana and Nevada, and you've got Oklahoma and Texas and Kentucky and Tennessee and Alabama and Virginia and all the other places that they make and age these whiskeys, you get vast differences in flavors. And then you have people who like in California, they'll grab Chardonnay barrels and port barrels and wine barrels, and they'll finish their whiskey in those barrels, and you get all kinds of cool flavors. When you got only 6 distilleries in one state and they got to sell to a market of 100 million people, well, you don't get that vast differences, and you don't get those vast cornucopia of flavors. That's the word I was looking for. Cornucopia. Look it up, kids. Of flavors that really gets to tickle your palate. And you can, with scotches, you can drink a different scotch every month and get a different flavor every single month. Go to a different region of Scotland every. Ooh, dude, that'd be a fun episode to do. Take a tour of Scotland with scotches. Oh man, do a Highland, a Lowland, a Orkney, and Islay. Oh man. Okay, I wonder if I have to write that. Hang on a second, I got to write down a note. Tour of Scotland. All right. How to get me a good guest. I know a guy in Scotland. I could do that. I could do that with an actual Scotsman. Oh man, that'd be fun. Oh, that's gonna be a fucking awesome episode. Okay. Anyway, what was I saying? Damn, lost my train of thought. Anyway, no, but okay. I'm remembering now. Give me a second. But you can get this vast cornucopia of flavors that go into your whiskeys, and you can have a different whiskey every month, and get a different flavor every month, and really get to explore the world of whiskey. And then you don't have to be confined to just some wild turkey or Jack Daniels or whatever. You don't have to be trapped by the habits of your grandparents and your parents and your great grandparents and all the people that came before you. You don't have to be trapped by their habits. You can choose what whiskey you want. You don't have to go and drink the same stuff that your great 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 grandfather drank because that's what y'all drink. You can choose to drink great whiskey, not just good whiskey. You can choose great whiskey, and you can choose a different one every month. That's what's so fantastic about this industry. I love it. And I love spreading the good word about these spirits. Um, let me check chat real quick. Moose Gal says, uh, "Do I make like rice whiskey?" Ooh, okay. So rice whiskey. That is, and then you got one more here. Unique whiskeys. Have I heard of Fish Key? No, I have not heard of Fish Key whiskey. Jot down a little note about it and I will read it. But I may have to go on a hunt for Fish Key whiskey because that sounds interesting. Okay, so let's talk about rice whiskey. Rice whiskey is another curious, uh, a curious local type of whiskey. Rice whiskey typically comes from Asian countries. Japan makes rice whiskey, although their supplies of rice whiskey have been remarkably low lately because uh, just quirks with their particular market. Uh, they got a whole bunch of single malts bought out, and then they bought a bunch of single malts that brought in, and their rice whiskeys are really like the traditional authentic rice whiskeys are low on stock. So here's the thing about rice. Rice doesn't have a lot of sugar in it. Rice has starches, high starch. Rice is very high starch grain. It's a cereal grain, but it's a cereal grain with a high starch. So if you're going to make a whiskey, any alcoholic beverage for that matter, out of rice, you've got to be able to convert the starches to sugars. Now, we do that with corn and our corn and our wheat and our rye by using malted barley. Malted barley brings a particular enzyme to the game. And this is nerdy science talk, but just bear with me, it gets better and boozy. In fact, we'll have a little boozy something to smooth this out real quick. Mm, damn, that is fine. Um, okay, so malted barley malt, the malting process releases this enzyme called beta amylase. The amylase converts starches to sugars, and it's what where the starches store the energy for the plant to grow. The beta converts that starch to the sugar, which is the energy for the plant to grow. So that there you go. That's what it does. And most companies, most distillers, when they throw the malted barley in there, they're not doing it for the flavor. They're doing it for the beta. And you can of course get the beta amylase in actual powdered form and dump it in there and do the conversion. But traditionally, with rice whiskey, with sake, rice wine, rice beers, stuff that uses rice as their principal grain, there is a particular. It's called koji. It is a yeast that has a fungus on it, and the fungus has the beta in it, and the beta converts the starches. But it also brings a curious little flavor to the party. So when you're talking about rice whiskey, there is a traditional ingredient to the rice whiskey that gives it this unique flavor. Otherwise, you're using malt or beta amylase to do the conversion with the rice, or you don't get that conversion. But when you're making pickled rice or uh, other things that are kind of a traditional rice dishes, pickled rice, that is actually a thing. Um, when you're doing that, that's what brings that unique flavor. Now we take it a step further, obviously, in the whiskey world, and we put it into barrels and we age it in barrels. So where you still get most of your flavor and all of your color from the barrel, there's still that flavor, that X factor, that extra thing that's added in there from the yeast and the koju that gives it that extra thing that makes it taste like rice whiskey. I have not yet successfully gotten through to the barreling stage with my rice whiskey experiments, but I am like one more iteration away from getting it done, and I think I'll have it done right this time. Um, and then I will have my first test batch of rice whiskey coming out. So that is on the menu of things that we will be doing at the distillery as well. But that is more of a 2022 project and less of a 2021 project. Because the first thing that's coming out is this rye. Next thing is the bourbon, and then the rice whiskey comes after that. Um, what do we see? Moose Gal, tell me about this fish key. It's a Scottish sailors used to keep their shipboard whiskeys in old fishing barrels. Okay, interesting. Um, fish barrels, yeah, old fishing barrels. So okay. let me finish reading chat. Uh, an old Thai tradition fits into modern times since it's actually the infusion rather than a whiskey. Uh, oh, antler cats. Yeah, antler casts. Um, you know what? I don't have to read it. I can just click. Look at that. I can just put it up there on the screen. Looky there. Of course, I can't see it because it's too small now. Um, but yeah, doing Scotland has done more things with unique casks and the aging process with their whiskey than the United States has done over the last 100 years. That is changing now. And I dare say Scotland has more of a tradition of doing that because Scotland has and has always had more small local distilleries than we've had here in the States. I mean, for example, Texas has 27 million people. Uh, these are stale numbers, so I can't remember exactly. I think we've got uh, 43 or 45 distilleries in the entire state for 27 million people. Scotland has something like 6 million, I think, and they've got something like 100 distilleries. So simply doing that math of distilleries per people, we can have so many more damn distilleries uh, in Texas alone. Hell, in Houston alone. I mean, I think Houston has about 6 million people in it, 2.5 million, 6 million in the metro area, which is about the same as they've got over in Scotland. So, there's plenty of room for more distilleries to be able to brought in. Um, so Cindy drinks Japanese whiskeys. That's Hunt for Heat, Cindy Hunt, one of our dear friends in the YouTube crew. Uh, yeah, yeah, Japanese whiskeys are interesting little creatures. Uh, it's hard to find rice whiskeys now because of what the single malt craze in Japan has done to the rice whiskey market in Japan. Uh, but they'll catch up. It'll take 2 or 3 years. They'll catch up. Uh, it, this stuff's interesting to follow. All economics can be such a soap opera sometimes. Such a soap opera sometimes. Um, let's see here. What are we looking for? I am looking for what time is it? Holy crap, it's 9:37. We are 37 minutes into the show, kids. Holy cow. Um, okay. Recap. Reset the room, as they say in the Clubhouse app. Uh, I am the Old Humble Guy, your friendly neighborhood sin merchant from the Old Humble Distilling Company, where we make fine, delicious whiskey like our straight whiskey and our special reserve. Let me talk a minute about our cigar club that'll be coming online. Um, and I will talk about that in just a minute after we finish resetting the room. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us here on the YouTubes and here on the Twitch. Twitter, old underscore umble. If we get 10,000 followers on our Twitter account, Twitter feed, Twitter page, on the Twitters. If we get 10,000 followers on the Twitters, I will be releasing a special edition Astros Orange label. This is the silver. It's no longer silver. Now it's a purple label of our straight whiskey. This is our black label, special reserve. We will do a special edition Astros Orange label. Let's see here. If I go to the Twitters, let's see here. I haven't checked it in a while. I'm going to share this page. Share. Let's see here. Share a screen. Is that how we do it? Nope. Nope. There it is. That one. Is that how we do it? Okay, so the Twitter's coming up. If I can find it. Okay. There's my Twitter. Looky there. There's the Twitters. And if I go to, wow, we're at 6,051 followers. So we have a little under 3 months to get to where we need to go. Let's see here. I'm looking for media. Is that what I want to find? because this is we got one fan sent out a there's our straight whiskey purple label. Sent us a, let's see here, where is it? Here. There's a I'm looking for the sent us a mock-up of our of what that label would look like. So I'm going to look for it over here on the other screen. What if I did the what does this look like? How about this? That doesn't do anything. I'm clicking buttons over here on StreamYard. Uh, but it'll be, it's going to be the Astros orange special commemorative label. And then we will release that label back. We will release that label out in probably, well, let's see here. It depends on when we get to 10,000. If we hit the 10,000 by July 13th, there it is. Will it come up? Yes, I think it's going to come up. This is an idea of what it might look like. Boop. Ta-da! Look at that. Little haterade action. This is close to what I've mocked up for the label. The Astros have their orange uniforms. The traditional Astro uniform is that dark orange, light orange, white rainbow stripes across the belly. Yeah, we're gonna get some yummy labels made up. It's gonna be kind of awesome. So if we hit 10,000 by the All-Star break, which is July 13th, the All-Star break technically starts the day 2 days before, July 11th. The All-Star game is July 13th. So July 11th, we need to be at 10,000. And then we're gonna release a special edition Astros orange haterade label. That's gonna be fun. Can't wait. It's gonna be neat. So we'll see where we're at. We're at 6,051 right now. Make that happen, Twitterati. Bring it up. And then what else we got going on? We will be doing our. Double check that real quick. Where am I at? This one, the home button? No, I don't even know what I'm pushing anymore. My computer screen. I'm actually watching the delay on on the regular screen. Okay, so we've got get me back here. Okay, good. And stop sharing the screen. There we go. Now I'm less confused. It's tough doing this when you don't have a production crew. Where are we at? Moose Cow says she forgot which one Cindy drinks. The last whiskey I mentioned, which was Fish Key. No, the one that was aged in the reindeer casks. Reindeer antler whiskey. That sounds interesting. It sounds like it would be an interesting reindeer antler cask. So is the cask made out of reindeer antlers? Because that seems like a weird way to make a cask to age whiskey. Because that's like aging it in hair. Because that's all antlers are. They're just hair filaments. I think they're hair. Well, I don't know. I don't know why these damn animals grow horns. It's just weird. Anyway, okay. So where are we at? Where were we at? My train of thought has completely gone off the rest. I was going to talk about the cigar club. Okay, the Old Humble Distilling Company Cigar Club. That is going to be a club that we have going out of the distillery. Monthly dues would be $10. You can pay per month when you show up, or you can pay all in advance for only $100. And when you show up each month, you get a free cigar, cigar of the month, whichever cigar we get. From Divine Leaf Cigar Company. And they are in the Instagrams. Let's find them. How do you spell Instagram? INAGRAM. There we are. Instagram. So Divine Leaf Cigar Company are the guys that we will be getting the cigars from. They make a really, really yummy cigar. Leaf. Oops. I misspelled leaf twice. I went from leaf to leave to here they are, and I will share this page. They are on the Instagrams. And let me share their Instagrammage here. Boop. That is Divine Leaf on the Instagrams. There they are. Let me shrink that down a little bit so I can. So you can find them. So Divine Leaf. That is they. Let me see if I can find a picture of their cigars. Here they are. These are some of their delicious cigars. They are available downtown Houston. He's doing a tasting with Fred Minnick as well. They will be available in Total Wine nationwide in the next several weeks. Here's another picture of their delicious cigars. God, they do make really good cigars. No question about it. Travel ready. That's nice. They do humidors and all kinds of other stuff. And we will soon be one of these whiskeys that they show off with their cigars because they are going to be the exclusive supplier to our Cigar Club members when we get our Cigar Club set up at the distillery. So, it's going to be a thing we can do on a monthly basis. You can have we'll have weekly meetings, but monthly dues, and you'll get a cigar each month as part of the club, and you can come out and drink some whiskey, smoke a cigar, and shoot the shit and enjoy yourself. And that is what we are doing and why we are doing it. So you can literally shoot the shit and enjoy yourself. If you can't shoot the shit and enjoy yourself, then those are we're not doing it right. And that's the whole point. Let's see here. Since I'm in Texas, have I heard of George Dickel Tabasco brand? I turned my chat off. George Dickel Tabasco brand barrel finished whiskey. No, I have not heard of George Dickel Tabasco brand barrel finished whiskey. I have not. But I will go on the hunt for it because that sounds. Is it whiskey finished in Tabasco barrels? Because that'd be an interesting flavor for a Tabasco or for a whiskey. To like literally have Tabasco in the whiskey. I have Tabasco. I think I have Tabasco. We may be out of Tabasco. I think I used the last of the Tabasco a couple of weeks ago. I need to get more Tabasco. Anyway, I was thinking about going and getting some Tabasco and putting it in my drink just to see what that would taste like. But I don't think I have any Tabasco, so that's not going to happen. I wonder. I'm gonna send a message real quick to my lovely assistant and wife, who may or may not be able to provide me with Tabasco. Do we have Tabasco? I put tobacco. SCO. And I misspelled it a second time. TOBASCO. Okay, let's see if that works. My lovely wife will be coming in momentarily. If she gets that message. If she doesn't, then she won't be. My oops. So what was I talking about? God dang. I'm losing my damn train of thought all the time. See, that's one of the challenges for this particular job, is keeping my train of thought on the tracks. Okay, so we are 40-something minutes in. If the Tabasco shows up, I will try it. I'll try a little Tabasco in the whiskey and see what that tastes like, because that could be an interesting flavor of seasoning a barrel with hot sauce and then aging the whiskey in the barrel that was seasoned with the hot sauce. There are several hot sauce companies in and around the Houston area, but hell, I could just go to whatchamacallit Island, Tabasco Island, whatever they call it, and get the Tabasco barrels from them. I assume they have Tabasco barrels, and do the same damn thing. I can age some spicy whiskey. Hell, I can eat the damn it. I can eat some death nuts. I can eat some spicy whiskey. So I think what we're going to do with the death nuts is I think I'm going to do that on the 420 episode. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that on April 20th. I think I will do the Death Nut Challenge in commemoration of our 420 uh, subscribers on the YouTube on April 20th. Um, and I may have, I don't know, or maybe I should do a gummy taste, a cannabis, a CBD gummy tasting on April 20th. Maybe. I don't know. Give me some ideas on what I should do for a. She responded, I don't think so. Like she can't, she's closer to the kitchen than I am, and I'm on a show. She could look, but she's not watching the show. So I can, actually, she might be watching the show. I shouldn't say anything bad about her. She's lovely. She's my sweetheart. I may pick on her just a little bit. Let me text her one more time. Um, can you check? I'll ask her if she can check. She's going to yell at me. I'm pretty sure we don't, though. Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I'm all tapped out. Okay, so that's the Cigar Club, our rye whiskey coming up. We're, in a couple of weeks, we're going to talk about small towns in Texas because on this last road trip that we went on up to Amarillo for the Palo Duro Canyon, we drove through a bunch of small little towns, stopped off in Happy, Texas. And I was inspired with the small towns in Texas to do a Heritage Series whiskey where we can explore some of the heritage and small town flavor of the state of Texas. And I will talk about that in an upcoming episode. But in the meantime, the Astros are winning 5-0, I believe. 6-0 now. Okay, my lovely wife says we do not have Tabasco. We have sriracha sauce. Here, my love. Thank you. We have sriracha. I'm not going to put sriracha in my whiskey. Mwah. I got chills. They're multiplying. See if she comes back. She came back. I don't know if y'all heard it. That's kind of our thing. She's so sweet. I love her. I think I'll marry that girl. All right. We are 8 minutes away from wrapping up the show. Let me tell you about what we're going to do on upcoming shows. We've got our Death Nut Challenge we'll do on an upcoming show. We're going to talk about our heritage bourbon that we're going to bring out. We will talk about our I haven't even mentioned the space whiskey. I may save that for a later show. I will do a tasting of our rye whiskey that will be coming up. I will do a full-on tasting of that with round table and all the stuff. Maybe I'll hook up with the 21090 guys and do a round table tasting of our rye whiskey. I need to get much more of it before we do that. And then we will do we've got the special 420 episode, which will be the Death Nuts. We've got the 500th episode, which will be the Haunted Cemetery. We've got the space whiskey, the heritage whiskey, and yeah, that's that's a yeah, of course we've got the Memorial Day special coming up on Memorial Day. I knew there was something that I was forgetting. So the Memorial Day special. Okay, so this is the current lineup. I don't have the current lineup. It's in my notebook, which is in my car, which is in my marketing bag. Crap. So on our Memorial Day special, we're going to do our introduction. We're going to do a cocktail. We're going to have a walkthrough of the distillery, a cocktail with a guest. Walkthrough of the distillery. We'll do another cocktail with another guest. We'll do a musical act. I've contacted 2 or 3 different folks. Whoever answers me first and says yes will get the gig. Then we'll do another guest, probably, and then wrap it up and throw it to our live stage just outside of the distillery where we will have our headliner, which is one of another 3 or 4 different bands that I have contacted and reached out to perform. And dude, that's going to be a hell of a show. That's going to be about a 3 or 4 hour show, and you're not going to want to miss it. So that'll be set up on the YouTube channel in the next 3 or 4 weeks. And then what else do we have going on? We have our special Astros Haterade label that will be coming out hopefully before mid-July. We'll have t-shirts. I'll debut the t-shirt when we hit 7,500 followers. I will debut the full label when we hit 9,000 followers, and then I will release that label, full on, straight up release that label, hopefully early June, available at the distillery with a big release party. That's gonna be cool. That's gonna be fun, and hopefully by then the Astros will be 3 or 4 games in first place in the Western Division of the American League, and well on their way to another 100-game season where they will make Dodger fans cry, because they still haven't stopped crying since 2017. So sad, so sad. Go through so many tissues. Poor babies. Love them, but they're poor little babies. So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we are 5 minutes to the end, and I want to leave you with this. Let me refill my glass here. It's been a year where we've been locked in, locked down on some form of quarantine, limited activity, limited motion, limited community involvement, limited outreach, limited everything. Our sites have been our opportunities to interact with our neighbors have been constricted through no fault of our own, no fault of most of our own. It's a circumstance that hit us. It was a preventable circumstance to a large extent, but it was a circumstance that hit us, and we are getting very, very, very close to the point where we can once again get out and be with our neighbors, be with our families, be with our people, be with our tribes that we haven't seen in person. And yeah, it's been 13 months in some cases. Our patience is wearing thin. It's getting harder and harder to wait. But think of how rewarding it's going to finally be when you can finally sit again with a group of people, listening to a band or watching a movie or seeing a play or the orchestra or whatever the hell you do. Think of how rewarding it's going to be to once again be able to sit in the pews in church. How rewarding it's going to be to take your one hand and put a glass in it, and take your other hand and reach out and pat your brother on the shoulder, your sister on the shoulder, and have a drink together for the first time. I, for one, am looking forward to that. I, for one, cannot wait. I'm so overjoyed that we've successfully passed the minimum fundraising target for our capital campaign, so that we can start planning for building out the tasting room. I am elated that there's going to be a day in the foreseeable future that we will have this room filled with people, and we can all raise a glass together, and we can say for the first time in over a year that it's good to see you, and I can't wait to see you again, and welcome to my home, welcome to my store, welcome to my shop. It's good to see your face, your whole face. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a really good day. But the really cool thing is, it's going to be a good day again and again and again and again and again, because we can go the rest of our life remembering what we sacrificed to make this happen. And we can hand that down to our kids and our kids and their kids and their kids and their kids. So what I wish to leave you with now is just one more moment of patience. Just give it 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks. Memorial Day is going to be one of those days where you're just like, I want to get out and I want to go do it. I want to go be with people. Most of us, by then, most of the country will be vaccinated, but we are well on our way to getting to that point. We can have Memorial Day in June. We can have Memorial Day in July. Independence Day is going to be lit. We're gonna have fireworks for Independence Day again. We'll be able to go to fireworks shows for Independence Day. Maybe not gather up in big giant stadium crowds and see, citywide fireworks shows, but maybe get with your neighbors and actually light off some fireworks this year. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be really cool. I'm looking forward to that day. And that's going to be a sweet day. But it's only going to be a sweet day if we wait for it to happen and enjoy it when it comes. So that's what I want to leave you with. I'm looking forward to it too. I'm itching to get out there and be with the people. I want to be with the people. But today, tomorrow, this weekend, the rest of the month, patience. Pour yourself a fresh glass, sit back, think of that day and how sweet it's going to be, and then pour yourself a little bit more in that glass, tap it, and drink it. Cheers, guys. I appreciate it a lot. I thank you all for coming out and participating in the show with me. Um, be awesome. Walk tall. Drink humble. Cheers.